Tavon Bridges, work with the Youth Organized Institute in Raleigh, North Carolina. In Raleigh, North Carolina, we have like a very specific goal of keeping kids in school, but also not keeping them in school, making the environment safe enough for them to want to be there. With trying to get police out of schools, trying to bring in peacekeepers and bring in restorative justice practices, and also just trying to fight racist and sexist policies in schools, different things like that. Just basically trying to create a free environment for healthy learning, and also trying to promote culturally relevant curriculum. Back in 2004, my father passed away when I was 8 years old. But 2 years later, no, 5 years later, I was recommended by my caseworker for Big Brother, Big Sister program to the Youth Organized Institute for the summer program. And ever since then, I've been working for my whole senior year and on to today. For me, I'm most looking forward to hearing people's like different challenges, their wins, how they got their wins, where do they think the focus needs to be at, and also like seeing how different people are conveying their message or doing events I was speaking in there talking about how culture and organizing go hand in hand, and that we don't all do things differently. Some people do marches, some people do flash mobs. So just really trying to hear about what people are doing and what ways are they showing resistance and showing that message. So we can maybe possibly gauge ideas or invent some new things, or just basically see what's working for people and what people are actually needing from their community and needing from the people around them. Yeah, I see the relationship where those two things can meet, but I also see that kind of one is like contradicting the other. That how education isn't at the moment isn't a safe place and is criminalizing and putting our young people in prison and in these detention centers. So I see where it could there's a way with like community work and organizing work that we could get to that place, but at the moment I see it as using it as a filter to filter students out of school and into prisons and streets and wherever. I mean, and also in graves, sadly. Oh, definitely. I definitely still. I've really because I still just see a lot of like with the quality of education. Like I still hear students. My 5-year-old cousin, learned just now and starting kindergarten, learning that Christopher Columbus discovered America. So that really just shows, and that was the same rhetoric I was taught. But we all know that's not true. So really, just like looking and seeing that our education isn't first of all, it's not accurate, and then a lot of it isn't culturally relevant. How as our history as black and brown folks is an elective, and a majority of our history is around the creation of this country off the backs of black and brown folks. So really wanting to make make education on that front curriculum wise, and also talk about education as a safety for safety for students. Um, Police are now being used to as a frame of safety, but a lot of people don't know that police officers go wide out of the scope of safety and also escalate situations, as we've seen in South Carolina and in different places. Really, that police officers aren't dealing with just safety; they're dealing with discipline, with like minor instances where like a student is like cussing or talking back. There's a police officer being brought up for such a minor incident. So it's like for me, I feel like school just needs to be like kind of peeled back and kind of looked at in a different way of really how do we make people feel safe, and how do we really how does it really look now, and where can what are the solutions and what does it need to look like to make it a safe place, and also where we have a quality education where we aren't teaching kids that Christopher Columbus discovered America. Just society for me would look like one, no more poverty. Two, this whole thing with like immigration and like the illegal alien thing that would like that doesn't even need to be here. Like that wouldn't even be a thing. Like there wouldn't be any borders or anything like that. Um, labor, like labor as in your time versus labor as you working like a 9 to 5 or $15 an hour or different things like that. Those things wouldn't even exist. Like you would, I feel like what you can contribute to society does not dictate your survival. So because even your existence should get you access to food, education, all the things that you need to survive. I don't think those are things that you should have to truly work for to get to that certain point, to the certain point where you can say that you survived, rather than because a lot of people don't get the distinction that a lot of people are living and some people are thriving, some people are surviving, and it looks very much different when you say someone's thriving and surviving. So I mean, and also in like an ideal society, we don't like criminalize our own folks, and we check our privileges, and talk. We have those conversations that people say that are silly or that we don't need to talk about. We need to talk about like that. A lot of like violence against women is portrayed by like men of color and stuff like that. Just talk about these conversations that they might be uncomfortable to the people that you're talking about, but these are the real narratives that people are going through. So just really talking about the conversation and just peeling back all the privilege and if it hurts and tears, you just got to really just talk about the issues from a lens of coming to better, not to come into keep safe and the patriarchal kind of thing. Just really just let it go. Oh man. I mean, hearing people talk and just seeing what really can go down. I mean, there's the sky's really. I mean, there's really no limits. Because I mean, for us as I already work with a coalition called DSC Dignity in Schools, and we do great work. And like, there's people across the country that are doing great work. And when we come together, it paints a beautiful picture and a message that we really want, dignity in schools. But a lot of it, really, I feel like we can just build whatever we want. We can really build whatever we want, and we don't have to because for a long time, when we were doing our local work, we do a lot of work in Wake County, and I just didn't want things. I didn't want there to be barriers in my work. I didn't want language to be a barrier, like to say that if you don't speak English that you can't be an organizer, you can't work with us. I don't want people to think because we work in Wake County that we don't care about students that are in Durham or that are in Chapel Hill. So trying to cut these barriers of language and location, different thing like that. Really just try to make it free and open for everybody. So really, I feel like that the sky is the limit as long as we keep doing our local work, and when we convene, that we build something or have a purpose or feed off of each other. I mean, the sky's the limit. Because for a long time I thought, I wanted my children to be a lot like me, but I really just want my children to be able to do whatever they want to do. I just want, in general, I want people to be able to do whatever they want to do. I don't want people to feel like because I'm an organizer that my son has to be an organizer. Everybody has to be an organizer. I mean, even though that would be a beautiful world, everybody's an organizer. But I just really want people, I know a lot of people feel like, black people can only be certain things and, white people can only be certain things. I really just want us to be able to be whatever we want to be, and that we're in control of our lives, and like not let like things like religion and morals and like different things like that to stop us from being exactly who we want to be. As long as we're not hurting nobody, I mean, that's like mentally, physically, and yourself. So I feel like really just being able to do what you want to do and be able to have the resources to make that change or have that conversation or do that job or just go on a trip and see the world, just different things like that.